I still think Saquon Barkley should have won. He had an amazing season. He should have been, if he would have broke that record, he definitely should have won.
Oh, if we're fifth, we all be lit.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
That was his choice.
This is true. No, this is true. This is true.
He said coach told him not to do it.
But yeah. But even and he came out with fresh legs and it made sense, right?
I agree with you.
I can get a record and still be fresh, coach.
Yeah. But he should have won. He should have won the MVP with that season. That
Performance. I agree with you. I think the NFL's initiative does not want the running back to win the NFL MVP because that changes the whole dynamic. They got to get paid now, blah, and they don't want to see that right now. It's going to be a quarterback.
Always going to be a quarterback.
Casual fans do not come to the games for running backs.
They don't.
Not anymore. These kids do not know these running backs. And even if they do, you can go blind taste test to kids who don't even like football. Name the quarterback of that team. They know it. Name the running back. And it could be a better running back than quarterback.
And they won't even know.
I get it. Does that change, though, when you have an amazing Saquon Barkley who's breaking records and running all these?
For years upon years, yes. For 1 year, no.
I think Saquon could have changed that this year had he won.
No.
Had he got that, the title and got MVP, I think he could have shifted that conversation.
No, he could have shifted that conversation if he would have went for 200 yesterday, but he didn't. Because now they're saying they can take you out at any time. Every general manager is saying, see, we don't need a running back. We can do it without a great running back. He averaged 2 yards a carry yesterday. He's still Saquon Barkley. Yeah. He still went for 2,000, but we know a defense can take out a great back at any time.
Yeah, but that's pretzel logic.
What?
Because
wait a minute.
That's what is.
Well, before the color line was broken, that's how they used to talk.
No, that's pretzel logic. Because you chose to take out Saquon, but you got toasted on everything else.
Yes, that's the whole point.
So that's not a good strategy.
No,
that's what he said.
That's what they do, though.
No, I'm saying, but that still keeps the value because the defense focused on Saquon.
Well,
they couldn't focus on everybody else, which led to big plays.
This is really an indictment on Jalen Hurts. This is really going to hurt. Okay, I say no and no. Running backs will never have their day again because the evolution of the game, the evolution of the position, it's all built off of this. What's the path of least resistance? That's throwing the football. On every single passing play, someone's open. It's up to the quarterback, up to the scheme to find them. On running plays, the best running back in the game averages 5-ish yards per carry. The worst receivers in the game average 6-7 yards per catch. So if you ever want to just blindly get 6-7 yards, you do not run the football. So what happened is that position started to catch up to analytics. Smart people got into the building. They said, we're going for it on fourth down. Hey, running backs, y'all, it's kind of hard for y'all to get the first downs. We're going to throw it, play the analytics game, shoot threes. Let me finish. So then you get into the Super Bowl. This is why it hurts Jalen Hurts. They know if you got a quarterback, we in trouble. Yes. They said, we question their quarterback. We're going to take away their running game. And then if they beat us with a quarterback, so be it. And that is not how the algorithm is supposed to go. You're supposed to have a top-tier quarterback, and you got to play zone and hope he can just methodically take you down the field. They didn't even do that. They played man, challenging Saquon, saying, you ain't going nowhere. Your turn, Jalen. Jalen answered the bell, but that's to the point where running backs are not the answer, and they thought Jalen Hurts wouldn't be the answer, and he was.
But has this changed the landscape of the NFL with his breakout season, meaning that you don't need a running back? I feel like
Derrick Henry been doing this.
Yeah,
and what's changed?
That's a good point.
Next year there will be a running back that goes for 1,800. It's not going to change it. It's got to be like 10 of them do it, and then we'll be like, okay, maybe we're missing something. But when one does it, that's what's supposed to happen in the NFL.
Dog, how many times we saw Saquon 6 or 7 times go for 70 yards this year?
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Do you know how many games you've seen? Like, just Justin Jefferson comes to mind. How many times I've seen that dude running for 70, 80 yards? Just like, it's like every week. Every week a receiver just, and even a receiver, listen to this, 7 catches, 130. Saquon goes for 130. How many carries?
25.
30. How many 28 runs?
No, it's just simple math. And I play running back, and people think I'm a hater when I say I'm like, I would never run the ball if I didn't have to. You have to run the ball for balance. Because if you don't run the ball, everybody's going to be like, all right, we just going to play back, soft lag, and then we're going to cover your receivers. So then you got to run to threaten them to come closer, and then you try to throw over their heads.
Let me ask you this: the perspective of, I don't mean to go back and get off topic, but that
Oh, we already off topic.
we
We
off
ain't talking
topic.
about Josh Allen yet. MVP.
Was your
what?
perspective the same when the Seahawks ran the ball or passed the ball versus the Patriots in the Super Bowl and Russell threw that pick?
Oh, I just did a breakdown on that.
Because I broke it down too.
Oh, you did?
So was
Okay.
your perspective the same? Like you shouldn't, because they threw it. Like you're saying, you should be throwing it. We know if the running back's gonna run it, it's a harder to get in down there, obviously in the red zone.
Yeah.
Was your perspective the same at that time for all these 9 years?
No, it shifted. I would say, like Marshawn, as great as he was,
Right.
didn't have the best short yardage package. Like they didn't have the best short yardage package to the point where Russell saw a goal line on defense, said, man, I'm about to throw this thing, right? But that's an isolated incident.
Right.
But in theory, I always thought that if I could, receivers are open. What are we doing? Like a great running back carry is, oh, I got 6 yards, 7 yards. A receiver would be like, dog, I suck. If a receiver got 20 catches for 120 yards, he'd be like, I'm sorry as hell. But a running back, 20 carries for 120 yards, yeah. It's just, the math ain't mathing.
The rules are a big thing that have changed to help the passing game in the NFL.
Yeah, it's wide
big
open.
deal.
Is there anybody
Big
want to talk
deal.
about this MVP, or are we over it? We done.
So yeah,
We're done.
way to go, Josh. Congratulations, buddy.
What you got, John?
Everything I agree with quarterback, they've got to be MVP. I mean, having someone else, the quarterback's job is not just to throw the ball. It's to read everything. It's on and off the field to really bring people together. Because if you're not, because you got to recognize when your guys are not in the right headspace, you go somewhere else. You're calling these plays based on what you're seeing and how everyone's performing. And what really got into on the Chiefs side, you had Mahomes, who didn't have anyone he could pump up because he was back. You had Kelsey, who he was in his own head, figuring out if he's going to go
He just ain't got the
propose or
fastball
something.
anymore,
And
yeah.
so the quarterback's got to be the one who can read it and move. And, yeah, it's,
What we saw was Patrick Mahomes pressing.
The quarterbacks, and again, I don't know if you guys know this, but every Super Bowl winning quarterback has came from a 2-parent household. So when you talk about the character and mindset and relationship builder a quarterback is, that's why it is the most important position in all the sports.
I hope that is a fact.
Yeah.
It is.
Yes,
huh?
yeah.
That is deep.
Yeah, it
Cut through
is.
all the
It
BS
is.
and the racial lines and the
Yeah.
position and what's your attributes. Are you a runner, mobile? Like, dog, you got your mama and daddy at home to teach you how to be a
Mindset.
leader, a man out there. That is insane. Yeah. And it's funny, we're going to talk about that later in the show about Jalen Hurts and his upbringing and how we respond to that in terms of him having 2 parents in the home, raising your kids in affluence, all those kind of things.